ex-wife was asking for an open marriage. I had her served at her work. Long story. Hello, true story. I feel comfortable telling my story now. I've gotten over the hurt and the pain. I'm at peace now. I'm currently writing you this all the way from Thailand. I rent a condo here and I left everything behind in the States. I still own my own home back in the States, but it's being rented out and managed by a realtor company. Everything I made it out of the divorce with is more than enough to live here in Thailand. When I first moved here, I found a remote job that's part-time and all online. It pays very well. I was a full-time graphic designer back in the States. Now I work part-time, and it's like I still make the same amount of living over here. And it's part-time. I enjoy walking now. I travel to different areas by car, and I sightsee. I'm just very happy these days. My daughter, who technically isn't my daughter, I discovered this during the divorce process, she understands and simply hates her mother. She's even asked me if she can come live with me here, but she needs to stay focused on college and complete that. My entire marriage was a huge lie. Wife clearly cheated early in the relationship, and more than likely throughout. I never knew. What made me file for divorce and get a DNA test was her asking me for an open marriage, acting as if it's something I personally needed. I went snooping after that, and I had to hire a PI to find out what I needed to know. My wife, now ex-wife, and I met in 2000 at a car dealership. I was working with another salesman, but she was trying to juggle between two of us, and my ex-wife snatched me from her. I still remember that woman being extremely upset with my ex-wife, but there was no way she could juggle two potential serious buyers. Anyway, checking out cars, I knew exactly what I wanted, but I allowed my ex-wife to show me others because I wanted to keep talking to her. She rode along with me during test drives. When I test drove the car I came to get, she rode with me, and we went to Chipotle for lunch. There I was asking her out, and she was completely down for it. We went back to the dealer for them to get me an itemized list and other information I needed to submit to my bank, as I already was pre-qualified for a loan on the car. Before I left, my ex-wife told me she was glad that she showed up for work that day because she wasn't going to initially. I drove home in my car, new car, and my ex-wife's number. That night, my ex-wife really wanted to hang out when I called her, and she invited me over to her place. I went and we had wine and talked for hours, all the way to 2 a.m. By then, we started making out, and yes, we ended up going to bed together. This wasn't like me at all, but no protection was used. I did feel stupid after. We both did. Well, at least she pretended to. We weren't intimate for about 5 weeks after that. 4 weeks after that first night, she told me she was pregnant. I was asking her, "Are you sure it's mine?" She got extremely angry with me, saying how she's not a promiscuous woman, and I hurt her for assuming she'd sleep with another man after sleeping with me, let alone without protection. I believed her, like an idiot. About a week later, we began being intimate again, and we started a relationship right then and there. I truly thought she was carrying my child. Now, I began by saying my ex-wife cheated on me in the beginning of our relationship. I guess technically she didn't cheat because we weren't officially in a relationship, but she did lie and pinned a baby on me. We got official and she moved into my home. She continued to work throughout the pregnancy, and I continued to make my home baby-proof for my daughter. Still call and refer to my daughter as my daughter. I raised her. She knows me as her father. That'll never change. I worked really hard making improvements to my house, even picking up side graphic design work for extra money, saving and investing. Eventually, she was here, and it was great. It was beautiful. I was now a father. That same week, I proposed to my ex-wife. She cried, and of course, she said yes. I taught my daughter to walk. I read to her, did everything. She was my world. I worked hard to take care of my family. My ex-wife didn't want any more kids and was asking if I could get a vasectomy. In my mind, I already have my daughter, so getting the vasectomy was not an issue, and that's what I did. We took 2 trips every year when my daughter got old enough. Things were great. I can only remember 2 incidents where my ex-wife and I had big arguments. One was over me working too much. This was a time I started my own graphic design company whilst working full-time for another company. The money was piling in, and I just wanted the best for my family. I sold that company and made good money. Not millions, but I thought I was going to make millions with this investment that I'd heard about. So early in 2014, to be exact, a guy at my job was trying to sign everyone up for something called Bitcoin. No one understood it, and only a few of us remained interested. I remember him saying it was worth a few $100, but if we invest in just one, we'd be billionaires in a few years. A couple people bought into one coin. Stupid me. And this didn't hurt my pockets at all or anything. I had the money to invest, but I bought into it. $10,000 worth of coin. I believe that equal to like 30 coins or something. So this guy showed us the website he was using. We all had to fill out paperwork along with his name being on it, send in checks to this place, address. He showed us at work on the site the coins everyone bought. It's like there was just one big pile of coins or something, and we were all in it together. But when this thing blew up, we were to split the money up. Me telling this story makes me feel so dumb, but it happened. So darn near every week we were checking. 2014 rolls around and it had risen like another $100 or something, and we were all hopeful. This guy told us that he was quitting at our company because he found another job that pays better. We knew the other company, and we all did stay in contact until he just abruptly disappeared. Mind you, he had all the access to this site. We didn't. I know, true story. I'm an idiot. On top of that, probably a doormat and incel and simp. You can say it, it's fine. Anyway, while he was away, we'd all try to keep in touch with him until we couldn't. He stopped answering his phone and would not respond to emails. Neither of us knew where the coin was at this point. This was 2017. He had been lying to us, saying that it's just holding steady. We looked up Bitcoin, and it was like $4,000 or something. Me doing the math, I just wanted to cash out. I was good. I wanted to take my money and invest into Bitcoin myself. But he wouldn't answer or respond. We went to his job one day at lunch, and we were told that he quit. We found out where he lived, and he had moved. This man vanished. I've never seen him again. Luckily, I didn't go all in, and I know $10,000 is probably what most don't even have, but it wasn't hurting me at all to invest that money. But it did hurt knowing where Bitcoin eventually rose to. We don't know if that guy cashed out and is living the high life or if he lost it all in some scandal himself. I guess I'll never know. We did reach out to the company that was to be handling our Bitcoin, but they were no longer in business. I took my loss on the chin, kept working, and forgot all about it. By this time, my daughter was gearing up to graduate and head to college. Funny enough, she's always wanted to be a divorce lawyer and eventually become a judge. She's in law school now. In 2017 is when my ex-wife was asking me the dumbest question. She never asked anything like this before. She was asking me what I thought about an open marriage and how she saw some series about it and she thinks it'll help me. I said, help me with what? I don't need any help. She says that I'd been uptight lately and I need something to get me back to my old ways. I assured her that I didn't need to sleep with anyone else. It sounds like you want to, and you're projecting that onto me. She says, no, not really. Well, I fantasized about others before, but never acted on it, of course. I told her that she's being silly, and if I found out that she's been cheating on me and she's just projecting right now, we're getting a divorce. She looked shocked that I used that word, the word divorce. She said, "Why would you say something like that?" I said, "Why would you ask me something like that? Why would I want a freaking open marriage? Are you crazy?" That started another argument. "This is what I'm talking about. You're so uptight. What's gotten into you? You're not the same man anymore." I told her sleeping with other people is going to drive a wedge between our marriage. Why would we do that? We might as well just get a divorce. If you want to sleep with other people, just get a divorce then. She started yelling, "I don't want to sleep with other people. I want you to get that log out of your butt." I walked away and she got pretty upset. "Just walk away from me. You know what? Maybe a divorce isn't too bad of an idea." I ignored her. My whole mindset was now to check her phone. Check her emails. Everything. I wanted to see if she was cheating on me. I just had a gut feeling. I started with her phone. I had her passcode. I didn't find anything, nothing in that phone, no hidden phone apps, nothing. I didn't find anything. I go through her emails, nothing, absolutely nothing. That's when I started to find online forums and I read stories of people saying how they didn't find anything initially, but they hired a private investigator. I thought that was doing way too much. I didn't find anything. Maybe I'm just in my head too much. I even went as far as trying to be a private investigator myself, or what I thought they would be like. But I started following her. When we text, and she told me that she was somewhere grabbing lunch because she was going out that day for lunch, I would drive by just to see if she was there. And she was, all by herself. I'd see her sitting in the restaurant by herself eating or on her phone or reading something. I told myself I'm being silly. She asked me for an open marriage. I shut it down. It's over. Why am I doing all this extra work? Calling off work or saying I have a doctor's appointment? Really? I'm just spying on my wife. So guys, I tried to let it go. I just couldn't. Something just didn't feel right. I got obsessed with reading online forums and stories. I didn't even know the stuff carried over to YouTube, but eventually I found channels on YouTube, and true story, your channel was one of them. Before you were reading subscriber emails, I remember when you were reading online forum stories. I love your perspectives on things. I love your opinions and your thoughts on it. It was great. Sometimes I'd read stories on forums online, and then I'll hear you read them on your channel, where men and some women also hired private investigators to find their significant others cheating. So that's what I did. I said, forget it. I'll get one. Maybe this will be a better investment than Bitcoin. I found a guy in no time. He had everything. Everything my wife had been doing, having an affair with some guy. This guy didn't live too far from us. From the date that I hired a private investigator, she hasn't seen this man in a number of months. But before that, they carried on an affair for years. Always going out together, having lunch in the middle of the day, and things like that. I knew everything about this man. I don't know how this private investigator found out all this stuff. I actually thought he was lying and making it up. This man had surveillance footage of my wife and this man together holding hands. How he got this surveillance from these businesses, I don't know. This guy just had so much connection. I wouldn't be surprised if he worked with the CIA. I still don't know how he was able to get this stuff. I never told my wife anything, not a single word. But when I got all the information I needed, I went straight to a lawyer. While my lawyer was cooking up the documents to get ready to be served to my ex-wife, I decided to talk to my daughter. My daughter and I were very close, and I knew she would not tell her mother. So I told her everything I found out, and I told her that I wanted to get a DNA test with her and I. But I assured her she will always be my daughter. She understood, and she was curious as well. I wanted to get a DNA test, and we did. And sure enough, my daughter was not mine. We both cried hard tears, man. But at the end of it, we both looked at each other and said, nothing's going to separate us. She'll always be my baby girl forever. She's going to go to college and she's going to become the lawyer that she's always wanted to become. and I'm going to make sure that nothing changes. My private investigator is the one that served my ex-wife at work. I wanted her to be served at work probably because of all the forum stories I read online. I thought those were pretty cool and fun and exciting, and in my head, she would blow up and flip out and maybe she'd get fired from her job because she acted out and went nuts or something. I don't know, just being silly. But the divorce papers were ready, and my private investigator was ready to have her served. I told him where she worked and how she would be there, and I knew she'd have a meeting. I wanted to show up during the meeting and serve her at the meeting. That's what he did. He told me how it played out. He walked inside, met the receptionist, and was asking for my ex-wife. He looked over at the meeting. I told him as soon as he walked in, you turn to the left and you'll see a glass window and see a meeting room. You should see a bunch of people in there. She should be there. The receptionist knew where she was, but the private investigator said, "Never mind, I know where she is." And he walked into the room and was asking for my ex-wife. Ex-wife put her hand up. He walked over, handed her the divorce papers, and said, "Ma'am, you have been served divorce papers." And he walked right out. Everyone said people were saying, "Oh my, wow, this is embarrassing." And he continued to leave. He called me when he got outside to his car and told me what had happened. Not too long after I got off the phone with the private investigator, my ex-wife was blowing my phone up non-stop. I sat there and I just let it ring and ring and ring. Put it on vibrate and it just went and went. Then text messages after text messages. It read, "Ex-wife, are you freaking kidding me? Divorce? Really? Just because I was asking for an open marriage not too long ago? You have to be kidding me. This has to be a joke. If it is a joke, I hope my job is in on it because I was served during my meeting. It's pretty freaking embarrassing." Ex-wife again. "Why are you not responding to me? Why are you not answering me? I just called our daughter. I interrupted her class." Me. "Our daughter? Did you look through all the documents?" Ex-wife 20 minutes later. "Freaking kidding me? You took my daughter to get a DNA test without my permission? You're stupid. She is your daughter. You're such an idiot." Me. "DNA test says otherwise. Her and I both know you lied to me in the very beginning of our relationship. You should have told me that you slept with someone else unprotected. We are done." Ex-wife. "I'm getting a lawyer and I'm coming home to get all of my things. Screw you." She did just that. She got herself a lawyer and she did come home to get her clothes and some other things, and I didn't mind. Didn't bother me at all. After she left the house with her things, I didn't hear from her for about a week. And in that week, she sent me this long text message that was split into parts. I still have it. "You don't have to say anything. Just hear me out. Please. Please forgive me. I had no right to lie to you. I can only imagine the shock and disappointment you felt towards me when you discovered Stephanie wasn't yours. This incident has been a harsh teacher of the importance of being honest. I only hope I can regain your trust by assuring you such carelessness will never happen again. I will never lie to you ever again. I'm honored to be your wife, and I very much want to continue our rewarding marriage. I apologize for the distress I have caused you. Please forgive me. I value you and will work hard to regain your trust. I want you to know how terribly sorry I am for my poor judgment in accepting a date with the man I met, John. I never did anything with John outside of kissing him and having lunch. When he was asking me to go to the concert with him, I was excited, but I turned it down and kept it at lunch dates only. I'm here being honest to you because I feel it's needed. I hope you can forgive me for being so insensitive. Our marriage is too important to me to jeopardize it. I am truly sorry for hurting you this way. I've already spoken with our daughter. I've apologized to her already, but can you please convince her that I miss her and I just need a hug? That's it. She doesn't have to come stay with me, but I need to feel my baby. My daughter stayed home with me until she went off to college. The day my daughter was dropped off at college, I was there and her mother was there as well. We didn't drive together. Though we were still going through the divorce, we decided not to talk about it, and it was all about my daughter and making sure she was comfortable at the campus. We left separately and headed back home to fight through this divorce. I ended up having to sell the house. Of course, we had to split it. This was my house. This was the house she moved into when I initially met her. She never paid a single mortgage payment, not one time. I had to sell the home and split it with her. You think my ex-wife stopped trying to get me back? You're kidding yourself. She never stopped. It just got worse and worse. Once was at my daughter's third year in undergrad. I and my ex-wife attended a performance my daughter was in. We drove separate. It was a dance, ballet, and a mixture of other things. My ex-wife sat next to me and I was asking her to sit somewhere else because there were plenty of seats. She told me to stop being silly and stop acting like we can't be near each other. It's not that bad. I'm not gonna bite you. I said fine and I sat there. I was a little uncomfortable, then I started to get better until she was asking me, "So, are you seeing anyone?" I said, "Oh no, here we go. Why are you asking me that? Why is that any of your business?" She says, "So that means yes, you're seeing someone. Tell me about her. Where did you meet?" I sat up and I walked to the other side and I sat. This was during intermission at the performance. Here she comes, sat right next to me. Again, I look at her and I said, "Stop talking to me about my personal life. You sit here and we watch the performance. That's it. We don't need to speak." She says, "Why are you so hostile? Is the new woman not giving you any?" I walked out. I had saw my daughter enough. I saw her perform. I was done. There was still more left, but I wasn't going to sit there with that woman. I'm standing outside having a great conversation with another father who needed to smoke a cigarette. I didn't think he was in the area to smoke, but he did anyway. I'm not a smoker, but I'd rather be around this cigarette smoke than my ex-wife. Behold, she comes running out. "So you're just going to miss our daughter's performance?" Fine, whatever. Listen, I'm sorry. I was being too nosy. I just wanted you to know, I don't know if you are or not, but I've tried, and I just can't move on. You were definitely the love of my life, and I ruined it. By the way, the guy that was smoking the cigarette, he was still standing right there. He's hearing all of this. I stop my ex-wife and say, "Maybe we can talk about this another time." The father smoking a cigarette excused himself. She continued telling me I can't move on to anyone else, and I've talked to a therapist, and she said there are successful divorcees that have gotten back together and had a happy life together. I believe we can do that. I'm sorry for what I did, but that girl in there will always be your daughter, no matter what. I'm sorry for lying to you. I apologize for everything. I truly am sorry. It was disgusting of me to do that. But it happened. I know we can move past this. That's when I told her, I'm moving. She said, "Where? To get another house, condo, what?" I said, "I'm moving out of the country. I've already talked to our daughter about this. I'm leaving the country. I'm leaving my job." She says, "Why would you leave the country?" I said, "Because this is what I want to do. This is my life." "When are you leaving?" She was asking. I told her soon. I walked back inside to try to catch my daughter's performance. I did catch a bit more before it ended. My ex-wife didn't talk to me the remainder of the time on campus. I headed home and I did what I was supposed to do. My daughter knew I was going to leave. Everyone knew I was leaving. My job knew I was leaving. A lot of people questioned me. "Why would you move to Thailand?" I just wanted to do that, so that's what I did. And I don't regret it one bit. I've been loving it out here. I'm still here. Yeah, I go back and forth to the States. I sometimes have to check on my condo there. I had one tenant once that destroyed a few things there and refused to pay for it. But that's part of being an owner and renting out a property. But I love Thailand. It's pretty awesome. My daughter wants to come here, but I told her, "No, you're in law school, and you need to finish doing that. You're going to become a divorce lawyer. That's what you've always wanted to be. I'll always be here." Honestly, I did consider when she graduated from law school to move back to the States. Maybe, I don't know. There's not much keeping me here, but I do like the cost of living, and the culture is pretty interesting. I have fun times most times. My ex-wife, she has left me alone completely. She does not bother me. I don't know what she's up to. I don't know if she's with someone. I don't care. Not my business. But true story, that's my story. I made a huge mistake, man. I should have gotten a DNA test early. I didn't know her. I just met her and slept together with her that same night, and we didn't use protection. She got pregnant, and it wasn't even my child. That says a lot about her, right? My ex-wife only kissed this John guy and went on lunch dates with him. Do I believe that? No, I think she did more with him. I think she did more with other people as well. I just never found out about it. Oh well, it is what it is. Stephanie is still my baby girl. She'll always be my daughter. And I will be right there if she ever decides to get married. True story. Thanks for taking my email. Take care.